Greg Archer here with another episode of Mystics in a Chat Room, Conversations with Agents of Change. Welcome to the show. On today's program, Theo Rossi, actor, producer, and philanthropist. The amazing Theo Rossi is best known for his role of Juice in Sons of Anarchy. Now he's seen as Shades in Netflix's big hit, Marvel's Luke Cage. But Rossi has another starring role. He is the founder of Ounce Water, a relatively new company, and a compelling one at that. It wants people to drink water. A lot of it, in fact. Well, enough of it, actually, daily, about 80 ounces. That's what Rossi is promoting, and his company is just taking off. Now this philanthropist talks with us about how the company came to be, why he had to be involved in it, and many, many other things. Please join us with Theo Rossi. Theo Rossi, welcome to the program today. It's really good to connect with you. How are you?
Very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Welcome to the program. You are an actor, producer, philanthropist, and I love that you are a philanthropist, and I love what's going on with Ounce Water. So we know a lot about you from television, Sons of Anarchy and Marvel's Luke Cage, but Ounce Water is so unique, and folks had a little preview of it before we came on here, but can you talk about what was the genesis of Ounce Water for you and why you felt you had to really be a part of it as its founder? Because I find it so awesome that you're a part of this. It's so cool.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for that intro. Basically every single thing in my life that I've ever done, that I continue to do, is an extension of me. So like when I wanted to, produce my first film, I wanted to see a specific type of film. So, instead of complaining about it, I made the type of film I wanted to see. And, I do that in all my work, like you said, with philanthropy or, however people want to, classify it. It's like, I think in giving back, I give back to the things that are extremely important to me or what I feel I can be of the most help with. Sometimes I feel like I got into the business I'm in to do as much, for lack of a better word, damage as I can in helping as many people as I can, because the bigger my profile gets, the more I can actually do for the community and for the people around me and where I grew up and also for the rest of the world. So when it comes to Ounce Water, really Ounce Water started off almost, it's sad to say, almost in a way that the idea was developed out of a selfish behavior. I drink a gallon of water every single day. I run marathons and do all different type of athletic activity throughout my day.
Yeah, not the marathons, but the gallon of water.
Yeah, so I drink so much water, and I've always felt that for me, it's just been really a cornerstone of my health. And because I travel so much, because I'm on set, because I'm running around, maybe I'm a bit OCD, maybe I'm a bit whatever, but I was always big on tracking like how much I was taking in, and I would fill my gallon up in the day, and when I was traveling, I'd see like, oh, well, that bottle's 16.9 and that bottle's 33.3. Like, it was just never, I was like, man, why don't they just make it easier so you kind of know what's going on and how much you're tracking, and then everybody's number is different. Like, I might take in 120 ounces or 128. Someone might only need 40, or someone who's less active might need 80. I said, wouldn't it be great? And as people are becoming more aware of health in this day and age, wouldn't it be great if people could track water, and which will make it almost like a game where they can drink more, and at the same time, because our products, our beverage and our food, people are Instagramming their food more than they're Instagramming their families. I mean, it's like we've also come into a society where every single thing you do, from the clothes you wear to how you portray yourself, is an extension of you. So your products, your food you eat, the bag you carry, the water you drink is an extension. So I said, I really want something that's going to look really cool, but that also is going to serve a function. And I didn't want anything that had any added enhancements that would be a fad of some type. So I just wanted natural, incredible spring water, which is, I'm very fortunate that up in the Catskill Mountains of New York State, we have, some of the most incredible water. So it's untouched by man. It comes from an untouched aquifer that comes up and is not in any way. There's no fracking. There's no nothing. It's just free flows, and we
Wow.
and we
Where
got
did you?
this
How did you
incredible
find?
natural.
How did you find out about that water?
So what happened was when I made the decision to do this, when I was I was actually on a movie set, and my mind is always somewhere, and I had come up with this concept in my head through seeing things that are around me, almost like taking things in that were happening on that day in that scene. I had my gallon of water, and then there was a lot of things happening around me in this scene of this film that I was doing. And people were drinking water, and someone else was over there with it was this film Lowriders I was doing. And there was all these different things happening. My mind started clicking into this thing. So I called up a friend of mine, the only friend I know in the beverage business. He actually works for Jay-Z's for Rock Nation. He does Ace of Spades and Douce and handles that beverage part. And I said, hey, I have an idea. It might just be crazy, but I don't know, maybe it's something I can do. And I had just come off producing a film, which is very, very taxing, and it's, you have to rely on a lot of other people. And I was looking to get into a business that I had potentially a little more control over, that my vision can come right from my mind into a product. And so what I did is I came back to New York because I was filming in LA, and I got my team together, which I just have this really incredible team of really close, we're basically like family. We've all known each other our whole lives. And we started hitting the springs, and we literally went and looked at a bunch of different springs and tasted a bunch of different water. And I settled on this one because it's so weird. You would never think, even though there's like water sommeliers and all that, like there is a different taste. And I just loved it, and it just was convenient for what I was, where I was, and what I was doing. And I came to find out that the Catskill Mountains in upstate New York has some of the best water in the country, potentially in the world. So it just really worked out, and we settled on this spring. And then the packaging process began, and that's where my years of art school and design and all that started coming off. So I just kind of started hitting up sketches and coming up with simplicity. Simplicity's always been that's been my motto in kind of anything I do in acting, in art, in anything. Just like keep it simple, stupid is kind of my thing. Like I'm just big on simplicity. Right. And I think that we live in a world where, if it was, I think it's why I like silent movies better than regular movies. People talk too much. I just like simplicity in everything.
So true. So true. It's so true. Oh my gosh, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Much we do with so little. So this idea came about. It was probably about when we fully really launched, like hit the streets. It's about a year, and it's incredible. We're in over 600 locations. We're about to expand our national footprint, and we're getting out there in a time where really at the end of the day, all I want for anyone, my only wish here is for people to drink more water. Right. I think it's a really, really beneficial. There's a lot of things going on in this world right now, but our health is the one thing we can really control. And I think the healthier we are, the happier we'd be.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true. So remind us now how Ounce Water gives back. I mean, it's actually going to be at the Empire Outlets in Staten Island, which is a huge thing. Mm-hmm. So, but it also, it gives back too.
Yeah, we do. We do so many different events and so many different. We're really present in the run in all the, because I'm such a big runner. In all different events we're running, we do a lot of stuff for different schools now. We're getting out there and really expanding into, again, as a small company, it's very interesting. I almost feel like when I first started acting 17 years ago, and I was, bussing tables in LA and working a second job on the weekends at an after hours club and like doing all this different stuff. I felt like I was just really like, I had this vision of like, I knew what was kind of going to happen. And I was just putting all the pieces in place. With this right now, it really is like every day, every night, every moment. And I just finished, season 2 of Luke Cage actually yesterday. And
congratulations.
Now thank you. Yeah, I've been like knee deep back into this kind of from the weekend on, and coming in and just small business in this country. It's really interesting. I mean, it is about the hustle, and it's about getting out. And there's so much we want to do. There's so much we have plans for with this, about introducing this into, specific communities, getting people to drink more water, really kind of hitting our consumer and just getting people healthier, which, like we say, with our thing, it's about making healthy habits easier. And we're just trying to, the easier it is, when things are easier for people, they seem to do it more. That goes with anything, and there's a lot of people that under a certain age or over a certain age have never really had that. They've never been told to drink a lot of water, and there's a lot of high blood pressure. There's a lot of things going on with, heart attacks and different things. And it's because, I'm not saying water's the cure-all. I'm saying that it's a really good start for people, and we're hoping to be part of that.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I used to teach a lot of fitness, so I drank a lot of water for more than 25 years now, and then I started doing Bikram yoga, and you're drinking water right now, and in Bikram yoga you have to drink water. So I absolutely love this concept, and I love that you have a lot of other philanthropic reach too. Can you talk a little bit about the Army Boots, which I thought was interesting? That came from something when you were on Sons of Anarchy.
It's funny. That's actually, without the boot campaign, which was the organization out of Texas. When I was doing Sons, it's a very, it was such a big world, and I met so many people, and I didn't realize that we were such a hit with the military before we were really a hit with the public. Really, it was like our second season. And someone who was working on the show, a singer named Henry Rollins, had let me know that. And I traveled over to Iraq and Kuwait and Baghdad and kind of met with the troops, and it started this kind of basically love affair with the military, where I just really was like, wow, this is incredible. I mean, we don't really sit back and think like, this is pretty amazing, like that these men and women are out here while we're just living our life, and they're out here. And I was on, Balad Air Force Base and hearing mortars hitting the base and like flying on C-130s and watching the danger that they're in. And I became so kind of passionate about, like, man, if I can do something and help them and really just make them smile and go to as many bases as I can and really just support them as much as I can through what I was doing as a career. If I could raise awareness for them, and that's where all the things came from, like the boot ride and all these different things that we did to raise tons and tons of money, and it's funny because through that, my wife was doing PR for the boot campaign. We now have 2 sons, so we met through that. So I'll always have a special place in my heart, with that. And then that allowed me, because that was really my first kind of dip into, I mean, Sons of Anarchy is really my first step into celebrity of any type. I had been acting for 9 years before that, but I really had been the guy who did every guest star TV show. I did all those small movies, and no one would have known, no one knew who I was. I was just that guy who was just on shows and really doing what I was doing to make a living, really blue collar actor style. Started as an extra, and then really Sons opened up my world significantly. And when I saw the impact that I can have with the boot campaign and with the USO and with these different military charities, I went, wow, if I could do that with them, I can probably do that with many others. So there were so many things that were really close to my heart. The environment, as many different animal charities as I can get my hands on. I'm a vegan who, is a big believer in that we have to evolve as a species, and we have to, all the stuff we're doing to this earth is horrendous, and we all know it, but it's like, you don't want to be, I never wanted to be like a keyboard activist. I never wanted to be somebody that's saying these things on social media but not doing anything about it. So right. Most people in the world don't even know what I'm doing, and I'm glad about that, because whether it be my own community where I currently live, in New York City, we do a 5K run here every year. We're raising money for Kids for Cancer. We're raising money for, animals affected by the hurricane, where we rebuilt a bunch of homes when Hurricane Sandy ripped up this part of New York City. We're trying, and we did that with my other organization, Go Get It Life. We're just trying, what I preach to my team and when I try to preach to all the people that are around me, it's like, we live in a world now where, perception is reality. And a lot of people things and say, oh, they throw out a tweet or they throw out an Instagram post saying that, like, oh, we should do something about this, and oh, this is such a problem, but nobody's doing anything. And I just couldn't do that. So that military, my first involvement with the boot campaign, really gave me that strength and that wherewithal that I can actually really make a difference. So again, as my profile grows, as my profile gets bigger, the most exciting thing to me is not how many followers I have on social media. It's the impact that I can have on the world, the lessons that I can teach my children, the lessons that I can show my sons that you can do anything in this world. So whether it be starting a water company like Ounce Water that makes people healthier, to making films that I hope touch people, which I think we did with our film Bad Hurt, to any different, every day it feels like I'm involved with a different organization and a different nonprofit and a different charity. And it's like, I wish that I can do all of them, because every one of them, if I see anyone suffering, if I see anyone that doesn't have a voice, all I want to do is give them a voice in some way. And I have that position. So I wish that I can do something for everything. So there's nothing specific: military, animals, foster children, anything that I can do. I'm trying to do as much as possible,
Right.
And
you have a lot of energy. That's awesome. And I love the way the light's coming down on you right now. It's like from like a beam of angels or something. It's like, wow, is this guy an angel? What is this? It's we spoke almost a couple years ago, and I did an article on you for Live Happy magazine. And I recall then, and correct me if I'm wrong, the sort of giving back or giving to others was instilled into you when you were younger, at a very young age. Is that right?
Yeah, I just didn't know. I was raised really a lot by my uncle, who came around when I was 14. My father left when I was young, and I never really. It's funny, growing up in New York City, you get your ceiling is kind of right above you. Everybody has. It's very simple. Nobody really guides you. If you're in specific family atmosphere like I was, nobody really guides you what to do. I was with a kid last night who, is a teamster on the show, and he's 24, and he already owns 2 properties, and he's part of 3 different businesses, and he's running all these things. And I'm like, geez, at 24, I was like, bussing tables and didn't know what I was doing with my life. I didn't even start acting until I was 24. And it was like, because he has this incredible guide in his life. My guides in my life, the people who influence me, they influence me more on an emotional level, where they showed me that, to be a good person, to treat people, everybody, a specific way, to treat people the way you want to be treated, to do more than you can, to always be genuine, to always be authentic. But no one ever gave me the business sense. That I had to figure out on my own. So it wasn't until I put it all together. So my giving back, that was always there. That was always there, because I've always been, every day in my life without animals in my life, I do feel more kind-hearted. I've always felt that way. I've been fortunate enough to have beacons in my life, if only for a short time, that were there, that were just these really incredible human beings that led me in a specific way, and then disappeared. And also, whether all through death, or in my case of my birth father, in a leaving sense. But what they all did for me was almost, they needed to leave, because I don't know if that incredible impact they had on me would have been there if they were still always around. So there's almost like a specific thing in loss that you too, that you need, that pushes you even further. So it's been instilled in me. It wasn't until and it's funny that you brought it up. It really wasn't until the boot campaign. It wasn't until I took that first trip overseas that I realized that I can actually do something about it. That I realized that my action, if I put it all together. So I feel like I'm just getting. I mean, I have. Either be like a big superhero or like a Star Wars character, because I feel like I'd just be at children's hospitals like every week. I just want to I love that stuff, and I feel like I feel like that's your responsibility and your duty when you're in the public eye of any type. And I live so far out of that whole madness of Hollywood, and it's really almost like a side job to me, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky that I've been busy with acting for the last 10 years, where I haven't really had any time off, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm a father first. I'm a human being first before anything, and I'm hoping more and more that I can just, every day I try to figure out how I can do more and more to leave a legacy for my sons to look at and feel that they can do absolutely anything.
Right.
And that's what we do.
That's brilliant. And I love what you say about taking action, because it's really all about that, taking the action, actually taking that action. I know you're limited on time, so I'm going to just ask you a few more questions. What do you love most about acting?
It's cathartic to me. I need to do it. It's like when you need to do something. I need to do it. I need to test myself, to go to places and to do things that are uncomfortable. I think it's why I take on the roles I take on. I need to. I very rarely have roles and projects that people might consider easy. Mine are always a little more tortured, a little more fringe, a little more outside the margins.
Yeah,
and I think that I need that because it's appealing to me, because I get to explore different sides of myself, and at the same time I get to let the audience go on a bit of a roller coaster ride. And I have no interest in really playing basic straight line characters. I just don't have it. So with acting, why I felt it called me out of nowhere. By the way, my life was absolutely, and you know this from the last time we spoke years ago, my life was going nowhere near the way of film or television or anything to do in acting. It just happens. But I think about that, I think about it when I was on set, the other night, and I was doing this scene that I think is one of the most proud I've ever been of a scene, and we were doing it, and it's just, I get to work amongst, it's a very gypsy life. It's just very appealing to me.
It's in your blood. It's in your blood. It's awesome. Two more questions. What makes you laugh most?
Oh man, it's got to be the people. What makes me laugh most is probably the ridiculousness of it all. How I find so much laughter in the common of what we stress so much about. And I think that that's where my sarcasm comes out, is I am the first to tell people how ridiculous they are and how ridiculous everybody's worries are unique to them, but to watch, especially living in New York City, to watch how frantic people get over the most benign, ridiculous stuff. My friends and I, and like I say my brothers, but I only have sisters, but my buddies who are like my brothers, and my wife, we get such a kick out of how crazy everybody has become. So I think what makes me laugh the most right now is, I just have a real kick on, and anybody who knows me very well, and I'm sure more and more people will start saying it, especially we just did a whole behind the scenes thing on Cage, is I just get a real kick out of calling out the obvious that I don't feel like a lot of people call out. And not in a mean way, by no means, but in a very funny way that I think people always say, they're like, you're right. And I'm just like, it's really not that big a deal. Like, none of this is that big a deal. We're just having fun, and we're here, and we're doing thing. And so what makes me laugh the most right now is just how completely out of control it all is. It's ludicrous, but it's ludicrous in a funny way. But but we're good, and we're alive, and we're doing our thing, and we're pushing forward. And I'm really proud right now in the space. I look at it in the positive space. I'm really proud in the way the world is pushing right now. It's like people are finding their voice again.
Yeah, it's so true.
I love it.
It's a lot of like the light that's coming down, and I feel like there's a lot of light actually coming down into the world. It's kind of just exposing all the stuff that needs to be cleaned out, right? That's the way I'm looking at it.
Innocence,
Right.
age of innocence, right now.
Right.
I feel like it's of everything coming out, and I'm really proud of that. And I think that if more people, once you're honest with yourself, once you're honest with yourself, and once you're honest in your space, oh man, there's no denying you. And I think that a lot of people are having a tough time looking at themselves in the mirror. So my laughter, back to that, my humor comes out of like, I just want everybody to have the best life and have the best time. And
nice.
We laugh about it all the time because it's not that hard.
Right. Stand in your truth. Stand in your truth. Okay, one last question for you. What's the most interesting thing you've been learning about yourself lately?
Oh man, it's been such a crazy couple of weeks because I've been kind of digesting coming out of the character that I've been playing for 6 months and adjusting to, I have a 3-month-old son. I would say what I've learned about myself is that if I listened to a great speaker, a really great businessman in general, is a guy named Gary Vee. He said something that he said, if I can have the ambition surgically removed from me, it would probably make everybody's life easier, but it's just kind of who I am. What I've learned about myself is I can't deny that I just want to do everything. I can't deny that I am nonstop. I don't promote it. I'm not, telling people, all day, every day. I get up at 3:30 in the morning. I never sleep. That's not for anybody to know except for me. But my thing is that I've come to learn that I can't be mad at myself for my ambition of what I want to do. And what I want to do changes constantly, which is why I probably have a production company, a water company. I act. I am, again, a father, a friend, a confidant. I think that I just can't deny that that's me. I feel like I have a very short time here. Even if I live to 150, I have a short time here. When you think about it, it's a blink. And I think that in that short time, I truly have to do as much as I possibly can. I'm compelled to at this moment, and I don't deny it anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I learned about myself.
Yeah, that's empowering. That's amazing. That's great. And it's great to hear you, and it's great to have you on the program. And Theo Rossi, thank you for being here. Everyone, take a look at the bottom of your screen. You'll catch more information on how to learn more about Mr. Theo Rossi. And you have an amazing rest of the year and a new year. And thanks for being on the show, and thanks for all you do.
Thank you, and happy holidays, and enjoy the year, and enjoy the rest of the year, and enjoy the new year. Thank you so much for having me.
Right on. All right. Until next time, everybody, take care.